Hello, my name is Michael Schuff of professional services company IT Governance, and I'm here today to meet Neira Jones, a payment card industry advisor, blogger and champion of the PCI DSS and ISO 27001 standards. Neira, welcome.
Thank you. I'm delighted to be here in Bletchley Park today.
Neira, is cybercrime on the rise? And if so, what should we do about it?
Yes, cybercrime is definitely on the rise because technology adoption is on a relentless upward path. So much so, in fact, that more traditional methods of committing crime have either been abandoned or adapted to take advantage of new technology. So let's take the example of the old, very well-known 419 scam. It used to be the realm of con artists, and then they took advantage of postal services, and then they took advantage of email, and then now they're taking advantage of social media. But it's still the same old scam. It's just taking advantage of technology for mass broadcast. So no wonder ID theft is the more predominant type of fraud in the UK. So we have to look at the environment. Organizations have to know what they're about. With technology adoption, with cloud, with hyperconnectivity, with the Internet of Things, with mobile and everything else, cybersecurity is no longer an IT matter, but a business imperative.
Can you explain, Neira, to a business audience what PCI DSS is? Why should we care?
Well, organizations should only care if they care about their assets. As I said before, it's about knowing what you can afford to lose. So looking at the PCI DSS, and as you pointed out earlier, I've always been a very big advocate, as well as other standards such as ISO 27001, but the DSS is a very good set of security controls, a very good set of data security controls. Having said that, the DSS is a minimum requirement. It's about establishing a baseline. Why should organizations care? It shouldn't be looked at as a set of control in isolation, because the DSS, after all, is about protecting cardholder information. But as I said before, it is a good set of data security controls. And for those who are so inclined, they would be very well advised to look at the DSS as a set of controls that apply to any kind of personally identifiable information. And it's hitting many birds with one stone, because personally identifiable information can be name, addresses, date of birth, and the DSS controls are very good for that as well. The other thing that organizations should realize is that they shouldn't be looking at the DSS in isolation, and they shouldn't be looking at it as a compliance venture.
Yes.
After all, we've all seen the target data breach. We've all seen that there was supposedly certified compliant at the time of the breach, but a report on compliance is only a snapshot in time.
Yes.
And it's all about good hygiene and business as usual activities. So all in all, the PCI DSS should be looked at as part of an overall risk management framework.
So then, Neira, do international standards have a role to play in fighting cybercrime?
Definitely. Everyone needs a good framework. So I particularly favour ISO 27001, new revision 2013, excellent. There are lots of new evolutionary things that cater for the evolution in our overall environment, but there are many other standards. We have obviously the UK cyber hygiene profile trying to establish a baseline. Over the Atlantic we've got the NIST cybersecurity framework, again trying to establish a baseline, but I'd like to see us go back to standards and frameworks that are internationally recognized, such as ISO 27001 and others, but also the EU data protection law will have a part to play in this, and certainly a lot of the DSS controls help with complying with the EU DP laws, and I think that's extremely important. But organizations should also look out at a few other things that perhaps they haven't considered. Since we are talking about the DSS, which is also an international standard, and we're talking about cardholder information, we'd be well advised to look at other regulators such as the European Central Bank, for example, and also the European Payments Council. I know we have SEPA and everything, but lots of requirements in terms of security. So the European Payments Council published a paper recently about the security of mobile payments. Extremely important because this is the new environment we live in. If we're talking about payments, the European Central Bank also published guidelines on the security of internet payments. I think that was a year ago, but very recently in October they actually published a paper on the security of mobile payments with all sorts of requirements, again which align with other international standards. So closer to home, we certainly can look at the Financial Conduct Authority. The FCA traditionally has focused on anti-money laundering, rightly so. They still focus on anti-money laundering, but very recently in October they published a paper with data security guidelines. Data security guidelines which we all will recognize. Now there is no law as yet, but when the Office of Fair Trading hands over responsibility to the FCA in April of this year, we will clearly see requirements in there, and I think organizations should watch out for the implications of this, and therefore using other standards relating to data security and risk management will prepare them actually comply with these other regulations.
Neira, you'll be speaking at an IT governance hosted event on the 8th of May at the Churchill War Rooms. We're really looking forward to the talk that you'll be giving. Can you give us some outline as to what you'll be saying?
So the subject of my talk will be trying to help people reconcile the need to innovate in this fast, hyper-connected digital world, and the fact that new technology will invariably introduce new risks, and those risks need to be managed. Hopefully, help is at hand for those who want to listen.
Neira Jones, thank you very much for taking time to talk to us. We really do look forward to seeing you on the 8th of May and hearing what you have to say to the audience of business people at the Churchill War Rooms, and thank you very much again.
Thank you, it's a pleasure and look forward to it.